Good morning, kiddos. Miss Auda here. Today is April 1st, 2020. We will be working on reading comprehension, specifically how to read informational text. So, what are we supposed to be able to do as third graders when we read informational text? Well, the first thing we need to be able to do is to ask and answer questions to show that we understand what we just read, and also be able to go back to the text and show how we answered the question, what information did we use to answer the question. Then the next thing we should be able to do is to figure out the main idea of a text. We need to be able to say the details and show how that supports the main idea. And the next thing we should be able to do is figure out the connection between ideas that the author presented to us, either in a historical event or scientific ideas or concept, or in a technical procedures in a text. For our purpose today, we will be using a scientific text. So your job today is to be able to find the connection between the scientific ideas that the author presented, using words like time order words, sequencing words, or cause and effect words when you're explaining those relationships. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. The first passage we're going to read, the passage for today is An Unlikely Parasite, the Mistletoe. We'll go ahead and listen to the audio.
An Unlikely Parasite, the Mistletoe, by Readworks. During the holidays, many people hang mistletoes over doorways. People share kisses under this evergreen plant. It is a popular Christmas tradition. But don't let the image of a romantic plant used during the happy times of the holidays fool you. In the forests where they're from, mistletoes can do some real damage. Let's take a look at how and why.
So this first paragraph really sets up our purpose for our reading. The author introduced us to the idea of mistletoe being a Christmas ornament or a Christmas tradition where people hang them on doorways so that they can show affection to each other. Now, even though this seems like a loving plant, the author continues to say that it actually is pretty dangerous, that it can cause damage in the forest. So let's find out. And he's telling you that the next part of the story is going to show us how the mistletoe damages the forest.
The mistletoe plant is evergreen. This means it has leaves that remain green throughout the year. It is also poisonous and has white berries and small yellow flowers. The mistletoe lives on other plants, taking water and nutrients from these plants. For this reason, mistletoes are considered parasites.
So I really like this paragraph because the author gave us a lot of information about the mistletoe. The mistletoe is considered an evergreen, and if we didn't know what an evergreen is, the author explains that it's green all year long. And then it continues to say that it is poisonous, and even though there's maybe some delicious berries and yellow flowers, so it might look inviting, it's still poisonous. And one thing that we need to consider though is that it lives on other plants and it takes the water and nutrient from this plant. So how is that damaging to plants? That's the question that first popped in my head. How is that going to damage the plant that the mistletoe is taking nutrients from? And parasites are not usually a positive thing. So let's continue our reading to find out how this mistletoe acts like a parasite, something that lives in another living thing, taking away nutrients.
The white berries of the mistletoes contain seeds. Some birds and mammals like to feed on these berries. When they do, the seeds may attach to the animal eating the berries. The animal may carry the seeds to another part of the tree or shrub. They may also carry the seeds to another plant altogether.
So this is interesting. Even though in the previous paragraph it said that the mistletoe plant is poisonous, I guess it's not poisonous to birds and and other mammals. It's probably just poisonous to people. But one thing that the author pointed out is that the animals who eat these seeds can carry the seeds to different plants, different part of the plants, or different plants altogether. So let's see how that could be an issue.
The seeds start to grow roots that dig through the bark of the tree or shrub. The roots grow into the tissues of the plant they've taken over. That's how mistletoes take nutrients and water away from the host plants. Mistletoe can be hard to remove once it infects a plant. The best way to fight off a mistletoe infestation is to cut off the infected branch completely. If the mistletoe takes over more parts of the plant, it can start to weaken the plant and make it harder for it to grow.
So this next part of this paragraph is showing us how those animals that carry the seeds to another plant, what can happen after that, right? The cause and effect here. Well, once they carry the seeds to other plants or other parts of the plants, the seed will start to grow roots and start to take over. See, look at the words that the author is using. Take over the other plants to take away its nutrients and water. And look at the words the author is using. Infect. You don't want to have an infection, right? So it seems like the mistletoe acts like an infection. It seems like it's not good for the plant. And an infestation. You don't want to be infested. That means overrun by these mistletoe. And one way to stop that infestation or a takeover is to cut off the branch altogether, completely. Because once it does, if a mistletoe takes over, it makes the plant weak. So notice that cause and effect.
As mistletoes grow in the trees, they become a thick mix of branches and stems. This big mass is sometimes called a witch's broom. Some animals nest in these witches' brooms. These animals include chickadees, house wrens, and most Cooper's hawks.
So even though the mistletoe could be an infestation or an infection, it seems like it can provide homes for some animals once it becomes overgrown. But would we want to see a whole forest full of mistletoe? What would happen if we let mistletoe keep growing? What would happen to a forest? What would happen to a garden if we allow mistletoe to grow? All right. So those are just some questions that popped in my head. What are some questions that popped in your head while you were reading this along? So now the next part of our activity is you will be answering questions about this passage. So the first question is you may get a pen and paper, pencil and paper, and write your answer on a separate sheet. And at the end, I will go over the correct answers. The first question, the mistletoe plant is evergreen. What does this mean? A, it has leaves that remain red throughout the year. It has leaves that fall off throughout the year. It has leaves that remain green throughout the year. It takes water and nutrients away from other plants. Pick your answer, A, B, C, or D. Number 2, if I'm going too fast, you can pause the video and press play when you're ready. Mistletoes live on other plants. The text describes the effects of mistletoes on these plants. What is one of these effects? A, they cause the plants to grow stronger. B, they cause the plants to grow weaker. Or C, they cause the plants to take in more water and nutrients. D, they cause the plants to turn white. So what happens once the mistletoe are on plants? Pick your answer, A, B, C, or D. Number 3, read the following sentences from the text. So let's reread this part. The white berries of the mistletoes contain seeds. Some birds and mammals like to feed on these berries. When they do, the seeds may attach to the animal eating the berries. The animal may carry the seeds to another part of the tree or shrub. They may also carry the seeds to another plant altogether. The seeds start to grow roots that dig through the bark of the tree or shrub. The roots grow into the tissues of the plant they've taken over. That's how mistletoes take nutrients and water away from the host plants. What conclusion about some animals does this information best support? So, what can we tell about some animals just by reading this passage that the author didn't write down? A. Is it that some animals can turn into parasites that infect plants? Is that what the author was trying to say? B. Some animals can cause other animal species to die off. Is that what that paragraph is trying to say? C. Some animals grow weaker when they eat mistletoe berries. Is that what that was trying to say? Or D. Some animals help mistletoes infect other plants. Is that what the author was trying to say? Number 4. What is one positive effect mistletoes have on the ecosystems where they grow? What's one good thing, positive effect, one good thing that the mistletoe has on its environment? A. They take water and nutrients away from plants. B. They have leaves that remain green throughout the year. C. They provide food to some animals. Or D. They have seeds which can grow roots into the barks of trees and shrubs. So, what's one good thing that the mistletoe does? Number 5. What is the main idea of this text? What's the main message that the author wants to let us know about mistletoes? A. Mistletoes have leaves that stay green throughout the year, white berries, and small yellow flowers. B. Mistletoes become a thick mix of branches and stems as they grow on other plants. C. During the holidays, many people hang mistletoes over doorways and kiss under these evergreen plants as a popular Christmas tradition. D. Mistletoes are evergreen plants that can cause other plants they live on to become weak by taking nutrients and water from them. So, what's the main thing that the author wants to teach us about mistletoes? All right, let's check your answers. For number 1, what does evergreen mean? Did you pick C, that it has leaves that remain green throughout the year? Number 2, which one did you pick? Mistletoe live on other plants. The text describes the effects of mistletoes on these plants. What is one of these effects? Did you pick B? They cause the plants to grow weaker. Number 3, read the following sentences from the text. So after reading that, what can we say about animals from reading that information? Did you pick D? Some animals help mistletoes infect other plants. That makes sense, right? Because the animals carry the seeds to other parts of the plants, and then those seeds can start to grow and dig their roots into other trees or shrubs. Number 4, what is one positive effect mistletoes have on the ecosystem where they grow? What's one good thing that the mistletoe does for its environment? Did you pick C, that they provide food to some animals? And number 5, what is the main idea of this text? What's the main thing the author wants to teach us about mistletoe? Did you pick D, that mistletoes are evergreen plants and they cause plants that they live on to become weak by taking their nutrients and water? All right, how did you do? I hope you got 100%. Now, once you're finished, you can go to my website and go to your grade level and choose the reading tab. And on the reading tab, you may choose to read any of the books that I've uploaded. I added a new one, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. You can read along or listen to the story. All right, goodbye, good luck, hope to see you soon.